Brother steals my car and crashes it. My parents are mad at me for making him pay me back. And now my father's in jail. OKOP. Ah, do you hear that? That is the sound of the ancient orangutan from the depths of the Reddit jungle. Now we're going to go even closer and take a look at what has become the world's best Reddit-based show. Wow. This is OKOP. I'm Samuel Donner.
And I'm John Frye.
We tell the best stories on Reddit from the depths of the jungle. And from the depths of the jungle, that's where we found this story.
You nerds.
Brother steals my car and crashes it. My parents are mad at me for making him pay me back. And now my father's in jail. This is an update to my previous post. And all this went down yesterday. My brother promised he'd pay for the damage to my car, and he kept that promise. The body shop guy cut me a deal at a fair price for replacing the damaged front end of my Royal Crown Vic. He just asked if I cared whether or not they were OEM, which is like the original equipment manufacturer, basically like the original parts of the car. I told him I didn't care as long as the car looked good. You know, I didn't want the bill to be too high. I thought the damage was only cosmetic. But there was some minor damage the body shop will need to pull out, but it's not frame damage, and the new parts will just be painted the matching color, so that's good. My brother willingly paid cash in advance to the body shop after getting the quote from them, and he seemed all too eager to hand the money over and politely bid me goodbye. I won't say how much it was, but it definitely hurt his savings, especially after the fine he had to pay for driving without a license. He was wanting to get a replacement car, but he won't have one till his license suspension is over anyway, and I have no idea when that will be. I think it's gonna be a good while. Anyway, my parents had given my brother a ride to the body shop, and as soon as he was out of the car door, they stayed and admonished me for making him spend all his money fixing my car. I imagine they were about to say something about how I should have just lent my car to him to begin with, and how this all would have been prevented if I had. But something in me snapped. That's when it finally spilled out. I called them out on everything that came to mind. All the favoritism, how they act like my brother has always been more important than me, how I had to move in with my uncle just to escape their unfair treatment, how they let my brother steal my car and then tried to lie to me until I threatened the police. How they themselves try to lie to the police by saying I was the one driving when my brother crashed my Crown Vic, the royal jewel.
Wow.
And I ended it all with saying how stupid it was that they were mad at me for making my brother pay for the damage that he caused by stealing my car on Christmas effing day and then driving it without a license while intoxicated. By the time I finally stopped, I was near out of breath. My mother was crying. My father was red in the face and looked like he was about to explode. Then he just took my mother by the hand and started to walk out. But some guy I don't know that was sitting near the door blurted out, "You guys are narcissists."
Shout out that guy.
Well, that was enough to set my father over the edge as he started to attack the guy. This is a family that's crazy, bro. My father is not a small man, and he knows how to throw a punch.
Oh, God.
So he started beating the crap out of this poor guy like a mad gorilla.
Oh, my God.
I yelled to the clerk to call the cops, and they did. And my father heard that and bolted out the door and drove off. He actually left behind my mother, who was crying in the lobby. Mans went wild. Police had to pick him up at home, and he surprisingly cooperated when he was arrested. But he's looking at charges for assault. The guy he beat up suffered a very swollen eye and a possible broken nose and concussion.
God.
I was there when they were loading him into the ambulance to get him to the hospital. My mother has called me crying and blaming herself. My uncle is saying it's about time my dad tasted some karma.
Hey.
And my brother is doing everything he can to stay out of it. Smart. This is not how I thought this was going to go down.
Just when you think it's over.
It just keeps going like that. The first part of the story was so crazy, and now we have this whole other part that gets even crazier.
It's like a sequel, and you're like, okay, it's just, you know, they're just juicing it for whatever, and you're like, oh dang, that was actually like
that was legit.
Legit.
And then some of the comments, Rosie901 says, "Good, she's blaming herself. If their actions had been better, it wouldn't have gotten there, and your father is getting karma. Actions have freaking consequences. Damn straight." Also, if you haven't already subscribed, freaking do that. Why aren't you doing that? You should already have done that.
For real. God, don't you love us?
Yeah, Spotify, TikTok, YouTube.
Click it.
Click it. And also support us on Patreon, like Kathy Quigley.
Ding, ding.
Our #1 Patreon supporter.
That's right. Our only
Patreon supporter. Please help us. All right. See you guys soon.